Well, the first hole at GrayBull is a par 4 handshake. It goes downhill and doglegs uphill to the left. There's plenty of room out to the right, but the farther right you go, the harder that second shot's going to be back up the hill and potentially blind if you get too wide right. There's no bunkers around the green, but there is one short right that if you go wide right off the tee, you need to get over that and you're going to get a forward kick onto the green. There's a very narrow slot in the middle of the fairway that would lessen the distance and give you a view in. It's nothing too wild on the green, it doesn't have any crazy shapes in it, but it does fall off along the left-hand side. So again, coming in from wide right, it's going to be hard to hold the green. Hole 2, par 5, you start turning east. Here at GrayBull, the wind is generally coming from the south, often the southeast. The first hole's playing downwind, second hole you're starting to play across the wind. It's reachable in 2 if the wind's not too strong. You want to hit it sort of center left. If you want to fly all the way into the green, there's a pretty good backstop. If you don't, you can hit it down the left-hand side and try and use the contours up the left-hand side and bank the shot down and onto the putting surface. Or you can lay up short of the green and just wedge it in. Green's got quite a lot of contour on it, especially the front right pin. If there's anything around there, you're better going deep and putting back to it. Hole 3 is a short but not drivable, at least I don't think drivable, par 4. Idea here is there's a big diagonal bunker out on the right hand side. It's kind of defending it any kind of layup with a medium length club. So 5 iron, 6 iron, you're going to have to lay up short of it. 3 wood, you could get over it. Driver, you got lots of room out towards the halfway house. So you can hit full driver at the green or out towards that halfway house and then pitch back into the green. The green is pretty sporty. It's got lots of shape in that green. If you're not in the pin placement area, you could have a pretty wild putt. That's definitely 3-jack territory. Number 4 is the long par 3 on the front 9, often played downwind. The green is all falling away from you and angled front left to back right. I would try and land it at the front and let it roll onto that green. Taking a little extra club and not hitting it quite so hard to take the spin out of it is going to be your play, and aiming front left of wherever the pin is. So whatever the number is on the pin, you want to be a little in front of it and a little left of it, assuming that the wind's behind you. One of the things I love, drivable par 4s. 5th hole's the first drivable par 4 here at GrayBull. In a dead straight line from the regular guy's tee, it is definitely makeable. I've seen it done with 3 wood. The green all feeds in from the right hand side, so if you're aggressive, you play slightly right of the green, carry all the sand, it'll launch you down and onto the putting surface, and yaboo, you've got an eagle putt. Could be that the smarter play is to hit it way out left. There's no bunkers, there's a giant wide fairway. You can hit 3 woods and rescue clubs or even irons out to the left and then have a much easier shot in. So it's a real decision maker's hole. Number 6, pretty lengthy par 4, 440 from the tips, 420 for the regular guy. Raking diagonal hole, moving hard left away from you. The green is down in a hole, it's 20 feet down in a hole. You want to pick the right line that gets you over the diagonal bunker in front of you and ideally still gives you a look into the green. All the terrain going into that green complex is falling in from the front right side. So you can throw a dart if you want, but you have to stop it before you go in a back bunker. The better play is to play a little bit short or at least pin high right and let the ball tumble down and onto the putting surface. Number 7, shortest hole on the golf course, par 3, green starts back left corner, lots of space, lots of backstops, but then as it moves towards you, it comes out into a peninsula with sand all around. It gets super narrow, it's like a tongue. If the pin is middle to the front and hopefully you're against the wind, you can stop the ball. If you can't, you're better to go left of that pin and putt back to it. If the pin's back left, you can get super aggressive. I've heard the staff here say that it's the shortest par 5 in Nebraska. Hole 8 is the second par 5 on the golf course. 525 from the tips, 480 for the regular guy. Definitely reachable. Long downhill tee shot. You can bomb one down there and definitely get within range. The green, unusual for here at GrayBull. Lots of the greens here are sitting kind of in natural bowls. This one's sitting on a ridge top with a big fall off on the right hand side. So if you go down the left side of this fairway and you hit anything that's got any right in it, it's not going to hold the green. It's going to spill off down the slope and end up quite a long way from the putting surface. The smarter play is to go down the right side off the tee, as you can set yourself up for a good angle into that ridge top green, and maybe you've got birdie putts and eagle putts. Hole 9, longest par 4 on the front, 459 from the back. There's a big ridge in front of you that you can easily carry. If you can get down the left-hand side of that hole, you can open up a view into the green. Everything is pushing in from the right-hand side. So if you can chase a ball up the right-hand side of this green, you can careen the ball back down and onto the putting surface. If the wind's strong, you can play way short, way right of that green, and the ball will just keep tumbling forward and moving left and get you onto one of the biggest greens on the front 9. The green might be 50 yards long, and depending where the pin is depending on how much power you're going to put on that approach shot to chase it in. Or you can throw a dart, but it needs to be very accurate and try and stop pretty quick. 10th hole at GrayBull, I think, is one of the prettiest postcards out there. Pretty long hole. The sequence of 8, 9, 10, and 11 are probably the 4 hardest holes on the golf course. They're all long. They're all subject to the wind. Almost a cape hole. The green is moving a little bit left, elevated slightly above you from the fairway, and you're trying to hit and hold it. It's subtle, but everything feeds in from the right-hand side. So again, there's an opportunity with that second shot, because it's so long, to play the ball to the right-hand side of that green and use the contours to get the ball to work towards the pin from the right-hand side to the left-hand side. Hole 11 starts a sequence of holes that take you on a secret little journey here at GrayBull. You disappear around the back of some of the biggest sandhills out here, and you lose complete sight of the clubhouse and the cottages and everything else. You're in your own little world for the next 3 or 4 holes. Biggest sandhills on the property are on your right-hand side at this point. Big par 5. There's a speed slot on the right-hand side off the tee. If you can hit the ball over that speed slot, you might get an extra 30 yards on your tee ball. The green doesn't have any bunkers around it, so there's absolutely no reason not for going for it. And the ground is all pushing in from the left-hand side. So if you can rifle a shot low and hard down the left-hand side and get it rolling, there's a chance that ball will just cavort its way all the way towards the putting green. Hole 12 is the longest par 3 on the golf course, 213 from the tips, wind coming across the left, all carry. There's no way of hiding from this one. There's no banking it in anywhere. There's a reasonable backstop. You can be bold and get through that green that won't hurt you, but anything short's going to hurt. Anything left is going to fall off into some hollows where you're left, chipping it back up. If you miss right, you can recover. I would say there's no reason not to be bold because short's going to hurt you. "13 is a short par 4. You've got some real decisions to make. If you try to drive it, the corridor through to the green is pretty narrow. If you try and lay up, you want to lay up on the hard right side of the fairway so that you've got visibility into the pocket where the green lies. Anything that gets the middle of that fairway, the ball's going to get ricocheted off to the left and down into a lower part of the fairway. And then you're blind over a big sandhill and then blind down into the green. Everything's feeding into that green from the right-hand side. So my preferred shot is to hit a rescue club down the right-hand side of the fairway and then chip from there and try and roll it in from the right-hand side of the green. 14, 540 from the tips, reachable par 5. Now you're breaking back out from this journey you went on round the back of the biggest sandhills on the golf course. Probably want to go down the left-hand side and see if you can get to a spot where you can see into the green and then use the contours to get in. The green is kind of awkward. It's sitting partially down in a hole. You want to stay right half of that green. If you go aggressive on the left side of this green and you miss, you're going to go through it and into some sand. You're going to be chipping back up onto the green. For me, I would go down the left of the tee, play down and into the hollow, and hope to get to the middle right of that green and putt to wherever the pin is. "15 is all about the putting surface. There was an elephant out here that died and it ended up in 15 green. When you stand on that tee, you really need to know where the pin is relative to where you want to put that ball off the tee. There's 2 big saddles in the green with the dead elephant in the middle. So you want to get deep down the left, usually off the tee, and then take very good notice where that pin is and try and get your ball proximate to where that pin is. Otherwise, you're putting over the elephant. "16's probably my favorite hole at GrayBull. It's the hole I saw when I first came here, raw in the dirt. I said, this is the best drivable par 4 I've ever seen. The wind is coming dead behind you. You're playing into a massive valley of sand and no reason to try and not bomb it at that green. But there's trouble. There's a big deep bunker in front of the green. There's a little pot bunker short left of the green, so there's the potential to hit rescue clubs and long irons and try and stay out left. But for me, if the wind's helping me, no reason not to hit driver. Everything's feeding in from the left-hand side of that green. If you can get the ball deep down the left, all the contours are going to start pushing that ball to the right, and maybe you can get close." 17, last par 3 on the golf course, 160 from the tips. It's sitting on a plateau. Again, unusual here at GrayBull. There's not many greens sat up in the air. 17's one of the few. It's partially blind. You can see the pin, but you can't see the bottom of the pin. The green is, let's say, sporty. There's a lot of shapes going on in that green. A little local knowledge will help. Knowing what the shapes are on that green and being able to play that shot into the green and try and work the contours is a huge advantage. 18, you're headed home, 472-yard par 4, all downhill, wind behind you. Sounds long, plays a lot shorter than that. Bomb it off this tee. You're trying to get as far down that fairway as you can so that you can play the second shot, which is still reasonably long, downhill and into this putting green. All the contours are pushing in from the left much harder than it looks. When I say much harder, the contours are pushing much harder. If you land it on this putting surface, there's a good chance it moves farther right and ends up in the bunker, or goes all the way to the back of the green. As I've said many times, it's firm and fast. We're playing in sand. So you've got to read the contours. You've got to figure out how you're going to use them to work the ball to your advantage. If you're trying to throw darts, you're probably going to get frustrated.